I am a regional representative for a socially responsible ag project. You can find our table over there. My family owns a 300-acre, 133-year-old family farm in northern Missouri. I was raised in what I consider to be paradise. World's biggest playground for a young boy. In 1994, we got a new neighbor, and my new neighbor turned out to be 80,000 head finishing facility for hogs. It was a company called Premium Standard Farms. Just that one facility alone that's surrounds our farm on two sides. We're talking about 72 buildings, 1,108 hogs per building. There's 9 earthen lagoons. Each one of them is 4 surface acres. Holds about 25 million gallons of liquefied feces and urine. And then that is spread on several thousand acres of cropland in the area. That wasn't enough for this company. In the 5-county area, near where our family farm is, they raise approximately 2.5 million hogs per year. And they have a slaughterhouse that kills about 7,000 hogs a day. That's the reason I'm up here speaking in Wisconsin. It's very simple, because, and that's why I've been speaking about this since 1994, when that was built. I don't want to see what happened to my community happen to anybody's community anywhere ever again. I could describe what it's like to live by 80,000 hogs. Probably everybody in here has probably got a pretty good idea what that's like. If you don't, if you want to see what really happened to my community, I can recommend a short documentary video. It covers things very, very well. It's called And on This Farm. If you go to YouTube and just type in And on This Farm, part 1, it was back in the old days when YouTube split it into 10-minute chunks, so it's about a 25-minute video. But it really goes through a lot of the points of view, both of the industry and of the neighbors that have to live by this thing. Now, it was completed in 1998, so you're saying, well, why should I look at a video that was done in 1998? The only thing that's changed in my community since 1998 is the owner of the facility next to me and the 2.5 million hogs. It's now owned by WH Group, which is a worldwide Chinese conglomerate. They bought out Smithfield Foods. It was originally Premium Standard Farms. It was bought out by Continental Grain. It became Conti Group. Then it was sold to Smithfield Foods. Now Smithfield Foods is owned by WH Group. It used to be called Shineway International. They thought that sounded a little too foreign, so as soon as the deal was done, they changed the name to WH Group. That company alone has almost 1.2 million sows, mothering hogs worldwide. They're by far and away the biggest outfit in the world. Of more concern is WH Group controls more than 25% of all American pork production. So for every 4 slices of bacon, that one company is controlling the production of it. Nobody has explained to me yet how an American company controlling 25% of pork production, which used to be American farmers raising hogs traditionally, how that could possibly be good for American agriculture, how it could be good for its communities, or how it can be good for folks that live in those rural communities and the farmers themselves. The concern here in southwest Wisconsin is you're obviously poised to see an unprecedented expansion of the corporate hog industry here. We've already talked some about the Premium Iowa Pork Plant, supposedly a 700 kilo a day slaughterhouse near Viroqua. It remains to be seen what promises are going to be made and what promises are going to be fulfilled on that. But from what I heard this morning, talking with folks, it sounds like they're going to be basically putting through about 280,000, 290,000 hogs through that facility on an annual basis. Now in Grant County, you already do have 3 existing, fairly significant swine operations. Altogether, they total 1,200 sows and about 20,000 finishing hogs. They're just west of Lancaster. But now here comes Pipestone Systems out of Minnesota. The first one was built a year and a half or so ago, Blake's Point, about 5,300 sows. Timberwolf, which we've heard discussed already, it's It's about 5,500 sows, somewhere right around 11,000 sows. Now the concern is that 11,000 sows is going to create 280,000 hogs. That's the big questions we have here, is where are these 280,000 hogs, these finishing hogs, going to be put? Where's the manure from 280,000 hogs going to go? And where are those 280,000 hogs going to be slaughtered? I want to mention on Pipestone, this is all questions of great concern. Pipestone is actually now the third largest pork empire in the United States. They're also the fastest growing pork empire in the United States. Between 2016 and today, they went from 170,000 sows to 240,000 sows. That's not counting the 5,000 plus sows at the Timberwolf facility that we're talking about here. And they're already operating throughout pretty much everywhere in the upper Midwest: Minnesota, Iowa, North Dakota, Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois, Nebraska. So, again, those are three big important questions. Where are these hogs going to be finished? Where's the manure going to be spread? And where are the hogs going to be slaughtered? What history tells us is that hogs are not transported very far away from where they're farrowed. Usually you can draw a fairly tight circle, 50, 75 miles at the most, around where the farrowing facility, that's where the hogs are going to be raised. They don't travel particularly well in the wintertime either, so they're probably going to be slaughtered not particularly far away too. So, now, of even more concern is a trend we've really seen a lot in the hog industry, especially in the last few years, and they put the finishing hogs, which would start go in at 55 pounds, and then they raise them to about 250, 260, 270, maybe a little bit more than that at slaughter weight. They put them in buildings that hold 2,499 hogs. Why 2,499 hogs? Because 2,500 hogs is at the point where you have to get a permit from the Department of Natural Resources. Now, I'm not sure that anybody's ever gone in and counted to make sure there's just 2,499 hogs in there. I do know that when they burn down, they turn in insurance claims of 2,700, 2,800 hogs. That happens fairly regularly in this industry. But that's a real concern. So if we're talking about 280,000 hogs, and they do go with the model of putting them in 2,499 head finishers, you're looking at more than 3 dozen finishing facilities that could be built here in southwest Wisconsin. They could be built in Grant County, they could be built in Vernon, they could be built in Crawford County. And as Kelvin told us, this is not the best place to be putting things like that. What does it mean to live by a 2,499 head facility? Obviously 80,000 is awful. You can go look at that documentary if you really want to depress yourself, see what 80,000 is like. I can tell you what 2,499 night is like. It's a matter of public record in the state of Wisconsin. There is a landowner and a homeowner in Greene County that in October 2016 had his property taxes lowered on appeal to the state's tax board, $60,000, 27%. Has a 2,499 head hog facility, about 1,000 feet from his home, a little less than 1,000 feet from his home. So we know that these, quote, smaller swine finishing operations are going to lower your property values by at least 27%. Then the question follows, then what percent is your quality of life lowered? It's pretty hard to put a dollar value on that. What about the quality of your health? What percentage is that lowered? And of course, what about the use and enjoyment of your property? So the industry is coming, there's no doubt. Most of the industry that you're going to see expanding in Wisconsin is coming out of Iowa or southern Minnesota. Quite frankly, they have simply crapped the nest. There is no place left in Iowa or southern Minnesota to put more hogs. They have endemic disease problems. Diseases called PRRS and PEDV. These are things that wipe out entire herds of piglets or entire buildings of sows. So they've simply over-concentrated. They've literally over-concentrated. That's why they're on the move. North Dakota's got one of the best corporate farm laws in the country. They've so far done a very good job of keeping them out. But we're starting to see them move more and more into Nebraska, South Dakota, Missouri, where I'm from, certainly Illinois, and Wisconsin is the next logical stop. So I just want to end with saying, you know, be forewarned, educate yourselves, educate your neighbors, educate your communities, educate your elected officials. You know, this is going to be a community decision of your community, if you're going to allow this to happen in your community. You know, if these things come up, you're just going to have to keep your ear to the ground, because these things, you know, if they aren't coming in at $24.99, they don't have to be permitted. You're not going to read about it in the paper. You're going to have to keep talking to your neighbors and be informed. Talk to your local land and water conservation service, you know, the people in the know that would know these things are coming. So I encourage you to take a stand. This is America's Dairyland. It's on the license plate. It's on there for a good reason. Do not let this become America's next corporate hog lot. Thank you very much.